Yeah. Oh, is it? Yeah, I love what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm just trying to get it personal.
No, it's really great. And I said I just bring you flowers because I'm so used to them not being here. But I like to have them out there when you come in. Come
Yeah,
in.
well, never after that.
Is it too late to do this now?
You can slide it back.
We used to be able to see you once they're acting out.
Maybe you need to stay close to me.
Yeah, just
Not an issue.
So do you think you need this mic or not?
Why don't you use this one? Yeah.
You can drag it anywhere, it's so heavy. Well, that one's on its own, so.
That's for whatever.
Well, I'll put it back here. No, just grab that one. That's the,
Oh, you're talking plastic. Yeah. That's that area.
Good morning and welcome to yeah, that was good. Welcome to the Keene Unitarian Universalist Church. We welcome all and we hope you'll find a safe space to explore your own spiritual path where you may find the friendship of others and a place to call your faith home. My name is Andy Johnson and I discovered KUC about 30 years ago and started coming later. Some ways I've given to the community are right now I'm on the worship committee and the choir, which I've done a lot through the years, and just about everything else except never the board. And that's not, I don't want to do that. If you're here for the first time and are seeking the society of other inclusive, open-minded, and justice-seeking people, please sign our guest book at the front of the sanctuary, and we hope you'll join us for coffee hour after our service through the doors to my right. Each week, we designate an ambassador to help new folks and answer any questions you may have. This week, our ambassador is Gwen Powers. And we always welcome children in our sanctuary. Their noises to us are holy music. Before we begin, please silence your phones and settle into this hour of community, creativity, and challenge. And we are blessed this morning to have Devorah Kelley as our worship leader. Rowan Van Ness is away from the pulpit. And Tina has an announcement. Oh, and one more thing before Tina comes up is the new introductions have been moved to just after the chalice lighting.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tina. And I just have an announcement for the parents, of which we have some parents here today, so I might have to make this announcement next week as well. But we want to make sure that after church, when the church service is done, that all parents come upstairs to get their wonderful children and pick them up there. And also, we have new RE registration forms for you to fill out. So today, when you come upstairs, I'll have one of these for each family. We just need permission every year for us to take photos of your children, for just to give us updated information. So even if you've filled one of these out before, we'd like you to do it again. So first thing is just remember to pick up your kids after church. And then the second thing is we'll have the forms to fill out. Okay? Thank you. And the prelude is Here We Have Gathered. Oh, morning has broken. Sorry.
Good morning. So our opening words today are by David S. Blanchard. This is an invitation. Come down off the ladder, wash out your paintbrush, shake the sand out of your shoes, get up off your muddy knees, and give the garden a morning off.
Fold up the newspaper, turn off the coffee pot, close up your calendar, already filled with dates and times and people and places that claim you.
This church is ready for you to fill its benches, to create its spirit, to generate its warmth, which today feels like you've done it, to kindle its light. This church is ready for you to make community, to create beauty, to bend it towards justice, to serve its ideals.
This church is ready for you to be here, honoring your past, invigorating your present, and dreaming of your future. This is your place. Here you are home. Here you are whole. Let us begin.
And I'd like to invite Gwen up for chalice lighting.
We both will. Invite her up.
Sorry, Lindsay, that was supposed to be you. Okay. The words are in your order of service, which I don't have in front of me. Of community and the fire of commitment. Thank you. So our opening hymn, which I invite, yes, oh, no, you're right. I'd like to invite Deb and Carol up, and they'll take the next part. Sorry, we had some changes last minute.
And I'd like to also invite Peter Tolka, Donna Boronak, and the Stamises to come forward. Ed and Emma, please.
Good morning. We are doing our second installment of new member introductions today. Woohoo! Okay, I have the grand pleasure of introducing Gwen, who we've known for quite a long time. But you get a little background now. Gwen was involved in 2 UU churches before coming to KUUC. She grew up going to the Davies UU congregation in Maryland. When she was 11, she moved to Burlington, Vermont, and began attending the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Burlington. She attended this church until going to Lesley College in Cambridge, Mass. During this time and for a while afterwards, she did not go to church. After graduating from Lesley, Gwen moved to Marlborough, New Hampshire, which is where her husband Andy is from. She began studying early childhood education at Keene State. She's worked in the field for many years in the Keene area before moving to her current position in Brattleboro, Vermont. I met Gwen many years ago when we were both members of an early childhood educators networking group in Brattleboro. During one of our many trainings, I found out that Gwen and I knew some of the same people in the wider UU community. Stunner, I know. I then invited Gwen to check out KUUC, feeling that she would be a wonderful addition to our community. And am I wrong? At the 10 a.m. start time initially was a little questionable for Gwen. Sunday was her one day to sleep in, but there was coffee and a lot of lovely folks to get to know. Since attending KUUC, Gwen has been involved in the worship and membership committees and the book club. When she is not working in early ed, she may be planting plugs or cuttings at Cheshire Floral Farm, which was passed down to Andy and to her at the beginning of this year. When the plants are ready, you might find her selling plants at the farmer's market or other vendor events all over Cheshire County. We were at Winchester Farmer's Market yesterday. In her spare time, she enjoys traveling. She has been to Alaska, where she took a helicopter ride. She has been to several national parks, including Arches, Bryce Canyon, and Zion in one trip. The Grand Canyon was another trip. In Yellowstone, Gwen stayed in the car but came super close to a bison. As the bison was getting close, she kept saying, "Don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact." Can you see her doing that? She's also been to Churchill, Canada, where she got to go dog karting. She even got a video of the experience. She has been to Hawaii, where she was a very early sunrise experience at, I can't pronounce that. Haleaka. Okay. It was so cold there. And then another tourist says, it's really cold up here. Gwen said, I'm from New Hampshire, and yes, it's cold here. In addition to being cold, this sunrise was also so incredibly beautiful. Gwen has also taken multiple trips to the much closer and amazing in its own way, Coldbrook, New Hampshire. Finally, Gwen has a few other hobbies. She has an eclectic taste in music. Gwen loves music from the 80s, and her favorite artist is Cyndi Lauper. And she loves the song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Gwen also likes to sing in the car as she listens to our local pop music station, WKNE. She also likes taking photos of flowers, trees, and yes, animals. There's even a story of a time when we went to the Billings Farm and Museum, and we almost had to drag her out of there because she had to take one more picture of the cute lambs. Speaking of photos, her camera roll is full of photos of, wait for it, yep, you guessed it, dogs. Gwen has a story about one of her dogs, Pierre and Remy. Their antics are quite amusing. In case you didn't know, Gwen is passionate about all dogs. She likes watching and sharing dog videos. If you've ever hung out with Gwen, you know she will notice every dog in the area. In a car, on the sidewalk, doesn't matter. The other day, actually, a friend said, Gwen is smiling, she must see a dog. For the record, dogs are on her top 5 list of things that make her smile. But other things that also bring her joy, something else is on the list is connection. She states, that is why I am happy I was invited to KUC and found so many people whom I consider friends. The community here is so incredible, and I couldn't be more grateful for that.
Okay, Donna. Donna grew up on Long Island with 6 older brothers. Now, you might think she was spoiled, but in a large family, all had responsibilities, so she actually became very independent. Her school life revolved around athletics. She played field hockey, volleyball, tennis, softball, and ran track. She won several athletic awards. She is an avid bicycle rider and once rode her bike 365 miles from the Cumberland River Gorge in Oregon up into Washington State. She has run the DeMar 3 times and the Boston Marathon twice, among other marathons. When she moved to Chesterfield, New Hampshire, she enjoyed the small UU church there. They had rotating ministers, and she especially liked the music and the organist. Her 2 children, William and Hannah, went through the RE program there, and they especially liked climbing the stairs to ring the bell. In her working life, after earning her degrees from Keene State College and Antioch University, Donna spent 44 years as a school psychologist in Surrey, Sullivan, Troy, Swansea, Fitzwilliam, and Gilsum. In 1983, Donna moved to Keene, and she enjoys doing renovations on her house on Washington Street. She painted the exterior of this large house by herself and is landlord to several tenants. About 10 years ago, she kept seeing a 12-year-old girl walking by her house with 2 little boys. As Donna began chatting with her, she learned that Dulca had been brought over from Guatemala to take care of the boys. Donna hired her for some light housekeeping, and soon Donna became part of a large Guatemalan family that she helps to support. Dulca's uncle, Jose, and his wife and son rent an apartment from Donna, and Jose now owns the Dinner Table restaurant in Swansea. In her spare time, Donna still enjoys being active, is an avid reader, and also a knitter. Welcome, Donna.
Ed grew up in the Catskill Mountains where his parents ran a small family summer resort. After moving to the Albany, New York area, Ed attended State University College in Oneida. Okay, I'm getting all the trick words today. What's that about? New York, majoring in chemistry. Emma grew up in rural Dutchess County, New York. When she was a junior at Oneida State, she met Ed on a blind date to see Camelot. After they were married, they moved to Albany, where Emma finished her degree and worked as a high school earth science teacher, and Ed worked as a research chemist. They moved to rural North Chatham, New York, where all three of their children, Jed, Laura, and Jeremy, were born. Emma taught part-time and did volunteer work at the library, school, and food co-op. Years later, Ed was asked to relocate to Pennsylvania. He was the director of quality assurance at Sanofi Pharmaceuticals and traveled quite a bit for work, both domestically and internationally. They had joined the UU Fellowship of Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Emma was very active there. She taught preschool part-time and helped develop a land trust to save forest land from development. They retired to an intentional community in Coleraine, Mass, near Greenfield, where they lived for 15 years. They lived in a passive solar house which they helped to design, and they developed vegetable gardens, berry patches, orchards, and a greenhouse, and walking paths and trails throughout the forest. They occasionally attended All Souls UU Church in Greenfield. For many years, they enjoyed month-long hiking trips to wonderful places. Their lists include Iceland, New Zealand, Peru, Patagonia, Greece, just to name a few. They moved to Keene to be near their 3 married children and 4 grandchildren and are thoroughly enjoying it, living at Covenant Living. They said living there is like being on vacation. They love to swim, hike, garden, play pickleball, and spend time on Cape Cod every year. They still love climbing Monadnock, though it takes a bit longer these days. We are glad they found KUC.
And last but not least, Peter grew up in Massapequa in Long Island, and even as a child, he was artistically inclined, always doodling. He attended a Lutheran parochial elementary school through 6th grade, where his art teacher, Mrs. Shaw, encouraged him in his art. By 8th grade, he was chosen with another student to do a mural in the public school cafeteria, which is still there today. In high school, he not only pursued his art and won a Fine Arts Award at graduation, he also played cornet and then French horn, mostly by ear. He wrote poetry and was published in literary magazines. He drew Beatles caricatures and gave them to friends, and used his lunch money to buy records on his lunch break. Peter felt that music and poetry were good ways for an introvert to express himself. As a senior, he entered a high school art competition, and his art was displayed in the Albany State House. He attended the School of Visual Arts and commuted by train for 4 years to New York City. While in college, he enjoyed many rock concerts in Madison Square Garden. Peter works with pencil, watercolors, pen, acrylic paint, and airbrush. During senior year, he created his art portfolio and became his own salesman. He has done 9 covers for different magazines, along with banners and black and white illustrations. He worked with other artists on a huge computer at a local newspaper, setting up ads for Yellow Pages. After realizing his art would be a sideline job, he began working in a local grocery store and saw many celebrities there. He said that working with the public was a whole new education. After moving to Cheshire County, where his brother lived, he worked at Keene State Dining Commons for 6 years. He switched to food service at Covenant Living, where he still works today. Peter is ahead of the game, as he has his epitaph already prepared. I came, I heard, I painted, I wrote, and then I left. Welcome, Peter.
Okay, now we'll do our opening hymn, which is number 360. Here we have gathered. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing.
Circle of kinship.
So it's a time for all ages, which I call a story for all ages, but it's the same thing. And I'd like to invite any children that are here to come on up, and Lindsay will give you some directions because we want you to participate in our story today. And if anybody feels like their inner child would like to come up, please do.
The only problem is I only have 2 special roles, so hopefully just 2 of you will step forward. Oh, look at that. No, but Rich, you are, actually we need somebody tall, so. And actually we also need somebody else to help with the wind. So we have a job for you also. And I'm forgetting your name, oh lovely. Sander, it's so good to see you. So, all right, so we're gonna have you be Higgins, and you're gonna have a lot to do, and I want you to do it up here so people can see you. Yeah, so you wanna come up here too, Sander? Okay, so you'll know what to do because you always do. All right.
Just listen for the cues.
All right, so.
Okay, this is called Higgins, A Drop with a Dream by Christopher Busey. Once upon a time, there was a drop of water with a dream. His name was Higgins, but he was no ordinary drop of water. He was a drop with a dream. He lived in a valley where it had not rained, sound familiar, for many, many months, maybe years. So all the beautiful flowers were wilting, the trees were drooping, the grass was turning brown. But he had a dream that one day the valley could be a beautiful place again. But what could he do? He was just a drop of water. One day, he decided to travel and tell others about his dream. All the other drops listened very politely, but no one believed that his dream could come true.
Higgins, said one, get your head out of the clouds. You can't spend your whole life dreaming.
Well, Higgins decided that he still that he had to do, this is terrible, I can't see. They had to do something to make his dream come true. So he began to think and think and think. And one day, as he was walking by a rusty old bucket, he got an idea.
If enough of us drops of water got together in this bucket, Higgins thought, there would be enough water to sprinkle on a few flowers to help them grow and become beautiful again.
So eagerly, he told everyone about his dream, about his great idea. But everyone thought he was being foolish.
Now, Higgins, he's nothing but a dreamer.
Higgins decided he had to do something to convince the others that he was right. So he said to them,
well, I don't know about you, but I'm getting into the bucket. I hope some of you will join me. Then there might be enough water to help at least some flowers grow beautiful again.
So Higgins ran as fast as he could, as hard as he could. He hopped way up in the air, and he kerplunked right in the bottom of the bucket. And there he sat, just a drop of water. For a long time, he was very lonely. It seemed like no one else was going to join him. But after a while, some of the other drops could see the grass was drying, the flowers were wilting, and the trees were drooping. They all agreed something must be done. But suddenly, one other drop shouted,
I'm going into the bucket with Higgins.
And he leaped through the air and landed kerplunk in the bucket. Then some other drops shouted,
wait for us! Do we have any more drops coming forward?
Anybody want to be a drop of water? Come on, Rich. You got to jump in the air and land kerplunk. Okay. Then 10 drops jumped through the air. Y'all can pretend that you're the drops. Jump through the air into the bucket. Then 30, then 50, then hundreds of drops came from all around just to hop in the bucket. And soon the bucket was completely full of water. But there were more drops that wanted to join, so they found more buckets. Before long, there were 2 buckets of water, then 10, then hundreds, then thousands of buckets of water. Here's your part. Along came a beautiful breeze, a very strong, hard wind. Come on. and it blew over all the buckets, and all the water flowed together to make a mighty stream. And everywhere the water flowed, guess what? The grass turned green, the flowers bloomed again, and the trees stood tall and straight once more. And all of this happened because one drop of water had a dream. And his dream came true because he knew that although he was only a drop of water, enough drops in a bucket make a bucket full. And when there are enough buckets with the wind behind them, amazing things can happen. Let's give a round of applause to our Higgins and drops of water.
We're going to sing the children out. And now it's time for a responsive reading. You have a very big job. You're going to respond.
The offering.
What?
The offering.
Oh, it's the offering.
We need your money before your words.
Now it is time for our offering. And Donna is going to play the music for us. And Carl also is going to be accompanying them. Aren't they amazing? And we are going to send the baskets around. Please give what you can. Give as generously as you can. Whatever you can is going to be used in good faith. Thank you. Thank you, Brahms. May these gifts be gratefully received and used for the good of all. So now is the time for our responsive reading. And I see Paul has his program ready back there. That's good. Ready to go. You have one line. You're going to be responding to my words with nurture this precious light. How shall we begin to live out our faith?
Nurture this precious life.
When we do, we are beacons of freedom, creating a safe place to rest, explore, and innovate.
Nurture this precious light.
How we keep this lamp of truth and justice affects how and whether we are transforming in equity through witness and action.
Nurture this precious light.
As we nurture this precious light together, we become a light of hope, turning isolation into community, anguish into peace, sorrow into joy.
Nurture this precious light.
As we do, our faith burns a steady flame of innovation, banishing illusion, creating a new and renewing way together.
Nurture this precious light.
With our living connections, with our glowing stories, with our flame of freedom moving hand to hand, we
nurture this precious light.
Together, we turn this world from bleak to bright, from one flame, one fire, one light at a time.
As we nurture this precious light.
And now to Deborah Kelley. We're so grateful that she's come all the way from Mexico.
Just for this. I just feel a need to say something for anybody in here consider themselves a creative artist type person? Raise your hand. Oh, come on, everybody. Do you cook? Do you sew? Do you do, right? Well, many years ago, and I don't remember which anniversary it was for, I created this, wherever it is. And I said to Lindsay, I want it up on the pulpit today. Again, I didn't put a year or anything, but it's felted, and I've never done anything like that before or since. So, anyway, and it really speaks to me as what Unitarian Universalism is all about, that we are people of many faiths coming together to celebrate and joys and sorrows, even though we're not doing those today. So anyway, that was my little pat on the back. So, this is a sermon that I've done several times when I used to do pulpit supply in New England, and also I've done it at my now home church in Mexico. But I also just had cataract surgery, so I can see you all, but this is kind of midpoint, so I may squint. I'm going to start with words by Penny Hackett Evans. Each of us brings a separate truth here. We bring the truth of our own life, our own story. This room is rich with truth, rich with experience, and I am so touched by the way you do introducing your new members that I'm taking it back to Mexico with me, and we're going to do that. All manner of people are here, needy, joyful, frightened, excited, anxious, bored, hopeful. We all bring our truth with us. May we all recognize the truth and story in everyone's life. And may we hear and honor the truths that each of us bring as we gather together this morning. Together, we have truths. Together, we have a story. Together, we are a community. So for over 30 years, KUC was my spiritual home, a place that I came pretty much every week. For others sitting here today, this may be a newly discovered place, maybe even your first time here. And I hope you will return again and again. But whether you've been here for 30 minutes or 30 years, I suspect that the primary reason most of you sought out KUC, or that you are seeking a community, maybe even more specifically, a spiritual community. When I used to co-facilitate the new UU classes here, when people asked, why are you here? What are you looking for? Invariably, they would say, a community. Sometimes a community of like-minded people, sometimes a spiritual community, but it was always community. So I looked up the definition of community: a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. Not always beliefs, okay? I believe that when you all come together each week, you might not just be seeking community, but a beloved community. So today, I'm going to share some thoughts about building a community, one drop at a time. But first, how many of you were sitting in these pews in January of 2017? Okay, I hope your memories are as good as mine, or as bad as mine. because it was January 15th, 2017, that I did a very similar talk on building the beloved community. So I'm glad that some of you are brand new to this. Fast forward 8 years, and while I now live in Mexico and go to another beloved UU community there, I still have deep connections here. I look out at faces here and I'm like, Susan Murata, I just had lunch with her the other day, and I'm staying with Jim and Carol, and I could go on and on. I get hugs when I come back. So this still has a piece of my heart. And I'm honored to be asked to be in the pulpit today. Interesting side note, last week I attended the Monadnock Interfaith Festival at Wheelock Park, and their theme was building the beloved community. So it's in the ethers. This is what people are seeking, right, Tom? Yeah. But what is a beloved community? How do we grow it? And more importantly, how do we nurture it? A little bit of history. The beloved community is a term that was first coined in the early days of the 20th century by the philosopher theologian Josiah Royce. He founded the Fellowship of Reconciliation. It was part of a popular vocabulary of Boston University's School of Theology during the 1950s, when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a doctoral student there. He wasn't doctor yet. So Royce characterized the beloved community as, this is in quotes, a spiritual or divine community capable of achieving the highest good as well as the common good. And he stated, when one cannot find the beloved community, one needs to take steps to create it. And if there's not evidence of the existence of such a community, then the rule to live by, act so as to hasten its coming. Just a little side note, the fellowship that I belong to in Lake Chapala UU Fellowship started 20 years ago this coming March. And it started because maybe 3 or 4 people got to put an ad in the paper and said, we're looking to create a spiritual community here based on Unitarian Universalism. And people answered the ad, and they came together, and for the first 15 years maybe, they were lay-led every single week. And they hired a wonderful minister about 7 years ago, and so he's half-time, just like you all are experiencing. So it took those few people, those drops of water with a dream, to create something that's still very viable. We have about this many people every Sunday. Okay, Royce held that each individual should strive toward this goal of beloved community, and that the more individuals who joined the effort, the greater the possibility of achieving it. Just like the story of Higgins. Royce believed that this in time would lead to the radical transformation of individuals and perhaps the world. However, it was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., also a member of the Fellowship of Reconciliation, who popularized the term and invested it with a deeper meaning, which has captured the imagination of people of goodwill all over the world. For me, personally, the beloved community is a community where I am fully accepted for who I am. It's a place where each of us can truly be ourselves. It's a place where there's no need to keep our public face on, and yet where we are still and always loved and accepted. Where we experience compassion from others in the form of kindness, care, empathy, and concern for our well-being, and we offer them the same. Not only are you loved and accepted, but you are supported and encouraged to be your full self, your best self. I wonder how many of you have actually experienced for yourselves that the beloved community happens every single week when you show up, that you truly know and have experienced that KUC is a safe place to meet one another from your heart space, and together create a community, a beloved community, where you experience a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. Does that sound right? I'm saying, yes, that's why we're here. Think for a moment about what you experience here at KUC. Take a minute and look around at the people who are here today. I'm going to read some synonyms for community. Unity, identity, convergence, kinship, spirit, village. It does take a village. You may have other words that come to mind. So thinking of beloved community, or just the word community, shout out, just shout out any words that come to mind that for you capture the community that you have here. Freedom. Hope. Love.
Safety. Caring.
Acceptance. Friendship. Louder. Interdependence. Okay. So now we know that not just any collection of people can be considered. Ever since I got here, I've had this throat thing. Community can only exist when individual members are in communication with one another, so that there's a congruence of feeling, thought, and will. We also know, this is a reality, that the more people who gather together, the more likely there will be disagreements and upsets, because we are human. Being together in community takes hard work and communication, communication, and communication. Open communication, respect, and a congruence of feeling, thought, and will are crucial foundational components of a beloved community. But add a compassionate heart to that mix and voila, you have created a place where, as one of our bumper stickers says, you can be you. I love this next part. John Murray, the founder of the Universalist denomination in the United States, a pioneer minister and an inspirational figure, which we heard about a couple weeks ago when Reverend Rowan read a story. He described the early church as a conspiracy. Now that has a whole different meaning now, right? But back then, what he meant is the believers breathed together, con, with, and spire, breath. So when they breathed together, it was in community. And what held those early Christians together was their shared sense of grace, their breathing together as people of God. So each week, KUUC has exactly the same potential and the same requirement. Coming together as you do, breathing together, you are modeling a way of life that is good for the world. The motivation for this practice is clear. It is the belief that the love generated by a spiritually coherent community is greater than the sum total of the love coming from each member. You get to shape a community around the teachings of Jesus, intentionally walking people into each other's lives, teaching them how to admire and appreciate fellow members who may often think and live quite differently. In short, you can practice being in community wherever you are, every day. But churches, including KUC, are created and populated by people who are human. They are not perfect. We are not perfect. Now, usually people think of perfect as meaning having no flaws, but it actually means wholeness. I personally know of people who have actually left their church communities because they were struggling maybe with mental health or addiction, because they believed that they had to be perfect in order to be spiritual. Reverend Dr. Petra Welds, a Christian spiritual leader from Dallas, Texas, suggests a both-and scenario. She says we need to see each other with both the eyes of compassion and to allow each other to be human and call each other to be who and what we truly are. She calls this spiritual double vision, which I feel like I'm having right now with these cataracts. So when struggles arise, as they will, and you feel that a situation or a person or even yourself is less than perfect, less than whole, take a deeper look with spiritual double vision. See the perfection, the wholeness that is the light of the divine shining brilliantly in every person in the world. And then, as we read together, nurture that precious light. Or as Tom Bassaria shared in a meditation at the Faith Festival, that what we see in others, good, bad, and neutral, we need to, it was Tom. Yeah, okay, the other Tom. What we see in others, good, bad, and neutral, we need to remember that that other person is just like me. a mirror, and view them with spiritual double vision. So along with communication and respect, this spiritual double vision will help those who love this place to move forward into this beloved, the future of this beloved community. Now, because I still get the messenger, I know that last year was a transition year with many changes and challenges, and that there are still some things in flux. But I also know that from past experience, that when things are in flux, the visioning process can be both fruitful and a little frustrating. So it's important to remember that we have to conspire together to communicate, and to help each other bring your best selves to this process that will send ripples out into the future to people who you may never know. I look at this founders plaque up here. They don't know any of us, but they created something that we now get to enjoy, and that's the goal from here on out for people that we will never know. So I'm sure that many of you know that Greek proverb, a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they will never sit under. And I love these words from the poet Annie Dillard, words that give a different view of church. And I apologize to our ushers in advance. When people come to church, they should not be handed an order of service with a smile. But they should be given hard hats and life jackets. Because church should be a dangerous place, a zone of risk, a place of new birth and new life, where we confront ourselves with who we truly are and who the church is calling us to be. Okay. Back to Higgins, the drop of water who had a dream and encouraged other drops to work with him to achieve that dream. This is what community can do, bring dreams into reality. So what are your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, your vision for this beloved community? Because it's up to you collectively to co-create the community that you want, and then take it out into the world that so desperately needs what we have to offer. We're going to take a page out of John Murray's book, and also from Higgins, The Drop of Water. I invite you, as we breathe together, as we conspire together in the quietude of the next few moments, think of a dream, a wish, a vision, a hope that you have for the future of KUC. So we're going to breathe together for a few moments. I'll ring the singing bowl to bring us out, and then I have an interactive part. So, wishes, hopes, dreams. So here's your part. I invite you, in no special order, to shout out a wish, a dream, a hope, a vision for KUC. Just put it out into the ethers, because words have energy, and we're collecting all that energy in this sanctuary. So shout out your dream, your wish, your hope, your vision.
Equality. Healing.
Loudly.
Fostering leadership. More potlucks. Accountability.
Any more? Did somebody say warmth? So, do you have a mentee? No. So now here's your task. Take those things you shouted out, or ones that you have but you didn't share out loud, write them down. At some point, we didn't do the pass out paper. And then find someone, just like Higgins did, and share that. And bring those dreams, wishes, hopes, and vision into reality. I was fortunate enough to sit in on 2 membership discussion groups, and it's happening because somebody said, let's do this, and gathered people, and it's happening. That's the power of sharing your vision, okay? Okay. So I invite us into a time of prayer. Holy One of many names, be with us as we begin the next steps on this spiritual journey. Give us strength when we falter. Guide us as we work to make our dreams, our wishes, our hopes for this beloved community a reality. May we do so with grace, humility, and faith. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Our closing hymn is number 318, We Would Be One. In the gray hymnal, please rise, embody your spirit, and join us in singing. So Gwen, if you would come up to extinguish the chalice. I remember somebody years ago said, we're going to distinguish the chalice. Which I love. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the power of share with all the world. We are together. Perfect. And our closing words are by me. We call for for a blessing on all sheltered here, whether in body or watching at home or in spirit. May the flame of this community ignite a love bold enough to share with those who may not even know that they need it. And in return, may you all be embraced by a love that remains constant in times of sorrow and in days of great joy. Our worship is over. Our service begins. Dream big and make those dreams a reality. May it be so. Hard not to get up and dance to that.